All right. It is almost midnight here on the West Coast. I guess that is what happens when there's a trade going on with a Western Conference team. So that is something that obviously happens. But we have a trade. The Philadelphia Flyers have acquired forward Andre Kuzmenko, forward Jacob Pelletier, a 2025 second round pick, and a 2028 seventh round pick from the Calgary Flames in exchange for forward Morgan Frost and forward Joel Farabee. So first off, I'm a Flyers fan. Want to get that out of the way for new viewers who are watching this video. I feel like I have to mention that every time, but new people will come and watch the channel a lot. I want to talk about Calgary's end first before I get into the Flyers' end, because I feel like that's where a lot of this is going to be. For Calgary, I think they actually probably make out decent in this trade. They get a good, solid center in Frost who could fit in as like a third-line player. I'm not necessarily sure if he's going to be like your number one, number two center, because I went through that in Philadelphia. He wasn't the greatest number one center or number two center. I don't think he would be in that role anyways. But regardless, good center there that you pick up. And then Farabee's a guy who's a proven scoring winger and gets a lot of his points in 5v5, had a career year last season. Just feel like this year has been a little bit of a down year from him. And maybe that's why the Flyers are moving on from them. But you can't hate it from that perspective if you're Calgary. I don't think it's that bad of a trade. Again, you're giving up a young player in Pelletier who we'll see how he is in Philadelphia. I still feel like there's more coming from the Flyers' end. I find it hard to believe this is it. But yeah, I think Calgary makes out pretty well. But let's get into the Philadelphia talk. Well, I guess I'll start off with a return. They get Kuzmenko, who is somebody that had a really good rookie season, because he was too old to win the Calder. He would have if he was eligible. For Vancouver, gets dealt over to Calgary in the Elias Lindholm trade. Just has not been the same, at least this season. When he went over to Calgary in that point, we thought he looked actually half decent. And I honestly thought that they were going to make another trade and probably trade him at the time. And I may have even said that in videos. But the Flyers get him. He played with Michkov in SKA, St. Petersburg. Cool. We'll have to see if that really leads to an impact on the ice. Again, I will say this. You do look around the Flyers, like there's not a lot of Russian guys. Like you got Zamula, you got Rodrigo Abels, who just came up this past week or so. I think that's about it, unless if I'm missing somebody. You really don't have a lot of Russian players, so it's good to get somebody to be around Michkov. And then Pelletier was somebody who was drafted in 2019, still 23 years old. I think that he has the potential, but I haven't seen enough at the NHL level where I'm like, yeah, I can see that possibly happening. But maybe we'll see. Get a change of scenery there, get rolling with those guys in Philadelphia. You get a good young player. We'll have to see, though, how that pans out. You also get a second for this past season, or this coming draft, and then a seventh for 3 drafts from now. I thought that was a little bit funny. I was looking at the comment section just trying to gauge how people were thinking. They were all saying, I'm pretty sure that 7th round pick is in, 9th grade. 2028, I'm pretty sure that's when my sister graduates, and she's, 3 or 4 years younger than me. So, yeah, that's funny. But anyways, I don't know. I don't know how to think of this. There are some people who say this is a good trade. It's a deal with 4 players who need a change of scenery. And other people are looking at this. The Flyers got fleeced. I don't really know what to think, honestly. I see what Danny is trying to do. He's trying to get younger. He's trying to get a player for Michkov. He's trying to get a younger guy in Pelletier, which I don't mind that. At the same time, all we hear is that this team needs a center. This team needs a center. This team needs a center. And then you trade a center for 2 wingers. What? You get a second and a 7th. Again, everyone would rather the 1st round pick, but you're not getting a 1st for Farabee or Frost. I I think from that standpoint, it's a good enough return to get future draft choices back. But with that being said, you know what that says to me? You know what this screams to me? This screams to me that the Flyers have given up. They have completely given up on this team, and it is about time we are likely going to see things come down, things rain down, and all of the guys who are here right now that were pieces before we had that season last year, which, by the way, I could get into that. That season's a mirage at this point. This team is clearly not capable. They're not consistent enough. They don't have good goaltending. They lack on the blue line. They lack offensive depth. They lack down the middle. I think that this is the deal that starts everything. I think we're going to see a lot of players get traded. I think we're going to see Scott Laughton get gauged on the market. Maybe he doesn't get moved, but it might happen. I think we're going to see Rasmus Ristolainen get traded. I think that we could get a first-round pick for the kid because, or not really a kid, for the guy because, like, you look at the defense market, it's incredibly dry right now. And I think you have to gauge the market for almost everyone else except for probably Konechny, probably Michkov, probably Forster, Brink, I guess. Everybody else, I might be forgetting a couple of guys, and I'd be like, yeah, keep them. But everybody else, I think you look for a way to move on. I am so sick and tired of this Flyers team just being so inconsistent this season. They started off the year terrible. And I was mad, but at least at the same time, I was like, oh, hey, look at that. Like, maybe they're actually going to, maybe finally get like a high pick. And then people were talking about because the Avalanche and the Oilers were struggling, the Flyers might get 3 top 15 picks. Oh, yeah, look at that. Then we started winning. Then we all of a sudden we're back at 500. We're back at 2 points away from a playoff spot, even as of like a week or two ago. And then this past like couple of weeks, you get blown out by the Rangers. You lose to the Islanders. You win at home against the Devils in a game you probably should have lost. Then you get shut out by the Devils again. Then you get shut out by the Islanders tonight. In that whole stretch, you are playing teams in your division, and you're playing teams that you need points. You need points from those teams. And the Flyers, in those 5 games that I mentioned, now, you could look back at the other games, like when they played the other teams, and they went like 3-0-1 on that 1 week, and it was like, oh, hey, look at that, they're back. You look at those 5 games. Of those 5 games, you have accumulated literally only 2 points from those 5 games. And I also want to say this, too. In those 5 games, you only scored 6 goals. Barely over a goal per game. Atrocious. Yeah, if this really is the start of things and the start of them maybe starting to tear this down, again, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way, and this is a trade where these are all 4 guys that need changes of scenery. But if I'm them, like, you just got shut out in back-to-back games. It's abundantly clear that John Tortorella is, I'm going to be blunt, he's not fit to lead the Flyers. And I've been saying this for years, he's the right coach, wrong time. And I just don't think this team is good enough. I'm tired of, midding our way to the playoffs. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. And maybe it's because I'm young. Maybe it's because I'm a young kid and I haven't seen the Flyers, go on a rebuild as much as, this and that. But I don't know. Yeah. So with this trade, I believe that more is coming. I cannot believe this is the only move. If this is really it, there has to be more coming because you don't make a trade like this unless if you're either trying to make a statement or you're really tearing it down. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on this deal. I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but that is just my frustration this season with the Flyers. My wholehearted frustration with this team is the fact that they think they're a playoff team. They think they can make it, but they're not. And I've seen that so many times with Chuck Fletcher, and I'm tired of it. And maybe this is finally the time where they finally realize, yeah, we need to go the other way. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like the video down below. If you really enjoyed, please do be sure to subscribe down below. I really do appreciate it. And join this community that we're trying to build here. But from a fan perspective, I am heartbroken with this deal. But at the same time, optimistic for what's to come.